All right, guys. Hey, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About It with me, your host, Jessica. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. So, I have a really interesting show lined up for you guys. As you know, we do like to cover some Radford sports on here, and we're going to get into a little bit of that today. So, welcome back to the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody's having a great day and a great week. If you've been keeping up with the show for the last few weeks, you know I've been talking a lot about Radford sports. I say that a lot on here, that we should definitely go support the students of Radford because they work hard, and it's good to have that acknowledged. So thank you everyone for tuning in, especially my dad, who was kind of the reason that I like sports, and it's led to a really big kind of career opening. So I really appreciate everyone tuning in, especially my dad. I love you, Dad. So today I have a really great show lined up for you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Radford women's volleyball. So if you don't really know a lot about them, this is kind of your chance to learn a little bit about the team, but specifically one of their players, Rylee Sloss. If you guys don't know Rylee, she's a very sweet girl, very, very nice. And if you get a chance to meet her, you should definitely say hi. So sadly, Rylee could not actually join me in the studio today, but I did have the chance to speak with her. And I do have some audio clips I'm going to play for you guys, because I think when you're listening to a question being answered, you want to hear it from the person. Like, I don't think that I could probably do it justice with what she means and what she wants to say. So we're going to do something a little bit different today, where I'm going to just kind of, lead into what we're going to be talking about, and then I'm going to let Rylee kind of do the talking, so it's coming from her. So a little bit of a background from her. Rylee is currently a senior here at Radford. She has been on the volleyball team since she arrived. So all 4 years, she's been playing volleyball for Radford. She's number 2. Originally from Blacksburg, she wanted to do a little something different when she was coming to college. So when she was looking, sort of where to go, it was a little bit of a decision to make. So I'm going to let you hear a little bit from her about why she decided to come to Radford.
Honestly, I loved the idea of being closer to home. I think going far away made me a little nervous. I also really enjoyed the campus. I think because I'm from Blacksburg, that Blacksburg area, so being from like the Virginia Tech scene and like seeing like how big the school was, like it was really really refreshing to be able to like come to Radford and like see like such a beautiful campus, but just like smaller. So I think I really appreciated that too.
So that's a little bit about, kind of Rylee's road to Radford, how she got here. So like I said, she's been here all 4 years at Radford. She's been playing volleyball that entire time. So she is a setter and a right side hitter. If you don't know a whole lot about volleyball in that position and sort of what that means, well, I'm really glad that Rylee's going to be able to tell us today, because there's obviously a lot going on and a lot of different roles within volleyball. So Rylee kind of gave me some insight onto, what her position is and why that's important for the team. So I'm going to let you guys hear a little bit about from her what that's like.
So we're the people that sets up our hitters to score, and no matter like what that looks like, just kind of, it's a lot of analyzing the other team and seeing where they're weakest at or where we'll be best to score. Like, it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of like changing things, it's a lot more than what it looks like, and we have a lot of responsibility just to make sure that everyone's succeeding. It's not just us, and I think that it's like a pretty cool position because of how much thought goes into it, for sure.
So kind of going off of that, I agree with Rylee. Like, there's a lot going in at once. Like, there's a lot being taken in, a lot to be analyzed. And I don't think people realize just how fast-paced volleyball is until you watch it. I've been to a few of the Radford volleyball games here, and it really is a very fast-paced game. Things will change in an instance. You see the ball go over, and it either makes it or it doesn't. And it's very crazy to watch, because every little movement impacts the game. It impacts what happens next. And I think that with a game like that, you have to be really quick. So I think it's really interesting that she's talking about, making decisions in less than a second. You see something and you have to react immediately. That's a really hard thing to do. So that kind of comes with a lot of pressure too. And that being said, I did ask Rylee sort of what goes through her head, during those big moments. And this is what she had to say about that.
Don't mess up. Literally don't mess up. We're always told that volleyball is a game of errors, and so you don't want to be that one person that makes that error and just kind of screws over the game. But I think that it's just everything is so quick, and so you kind of always have to be ready, even if the ball isn't coming to you, because we're once again we're always told the ball will find whoever is not ready, and that is so true, because it's happened to me like many times. But just like, I don't know, I think being able to like keep up is probably such a good feeling to like know that like you're bouncy, you can go wherever you like. It's just constantly like changing, and I think that that's pretty cool.
So kind of, going off of that again, I think going into any game like this requires a certain mindset. This saying like, get your head in the game. I think it obviously requires a certain mindset to go into something like that, especially knowing what's going to happen. And obviously like, a little routine, a little just, practice repetition for it never hurts. So I think one of the good things too about when you're in a team sport is going into this sport or game, whatever you're doing, with people that people that you can trust, and people that you're familiar playing with. And obviously, like for Rylee, she's been here all 4 years, so she has some teammates she's played with for a long time, some that are new, and it's kind of an interesting dynamic to adjust to that and to change. So I did ask Rylee, about her teammates, sort of what it's like to play with them, her experience playing with them, and here's what she had to say about that.
Oh my goodness, I could talk about my teammates all day. Seriously, it is probably the most amazing experience that I've ever had. I think just being around a group of girls who really just like want the best for you and like will be there to talk and be there to support you like through like every circumstance. Like I feel like that's just like so amazing, and I think it's just a really cool opportunity to be able to go and play different teams at like so many different levels of volleyball. And I just really enjoyed like getting to learn so much more than I thought I already did know. But even when things aren't going my way necessarily, I think it's like so cool to have the perspective of like I truly just want the best for like everybody else, and if that means like it's not me getting what I want, then like that's fine. Like I feel like I've really grown into that mentality a little bit.
So obviously, playing home and away has its different impacts on how you perform. So Rylee said she does prefer playing at home in Radford, and she told me a little bit about why. But I also asked her, when you're on the road, what kind of teams do you like to play? I obviously think that every school has different facilities, different energy. So this is what Rylee had to say about playing teams on the road.
In conference right now, I think Charleston Southern. I think we had away. Last year they had beat High Point, and we played them. So it goes like Friday, Saturday. So they played High Point on Friday, and we played them on Charleston Southern on Saturday. And they had just beat High Point, and so they were all hype and cocky and like all of those things. And so we go into their gym. It's like a really small gym. They have a lot of fans. It gets loud, and I don't know. It was just a really fun game to get into because they're really into it. They get really competitive. So I feel like that's a cool game for sure.
So obviously I think, a little competition is definitely good. It always ups the energy, kind of ups the stakes in the game, and you just kind of feed off of that. So I think kind of, much like any other sport too, it's always good to think about the crowd. What kind of energy are you getting from them? Because it does make or break the experience. Like you would hate to be doing really well and you guys are getting all these points and you're making all these like really cool moves and plays, and then the crowd's just sitting there like, oh, whatever. Like obviously the crowd does impact the gameplay. It gets that energy going, you get hyped up. It just really helps you kind of get into the game. So Rylee says she does like the energy of the crowd, and here's why.
I like it. I think it depends. Like I think like at High Point when we're playing there, they have a loud band. Like it's like you can't even hear our coach like talking because it's so loud, and like so like that like I would love to speak and be able to hear myself, but like I think fans are different. Like I feel like that's like kind of cool. Like you care that much about me that like you're sitting over here like yelling at me. Like thank you.
So obviously, that definitely ups the energy, and I think that it's a really good, kind of feeling to have that crowd going. So with this season, being Rylee's fourth, we're going to transition a little bit here. Like there's no doubt that she plays differently than she has in years before. There's always been time to grow, time to learn different playing styles, what works for her. So I asked Rylee sort of about, what is she's looking to accomplish this season? What are some of, her goals? And her being the team player that she is, she mentioned having team goals. So let's hear a little bit about that.
So in our locker room, we have a whole banner of like goals that we're trying to achieve and stuff like that. So like, me personally, this is my first season as like a full right side. Okay. So like I'm kind of like trying to get into that group a little bit more because I had been setting the previous years. But I think for me personally, like sticking to like getting a certain amount of kills per game. Like I think I've been in the double digits like the past like 5 games, which has been pretty cool like for me. And so I think like kind of keeping that up and like holding myself to a certain standard. For goals, like as a team, I think I would love to see us beat High Point at home. I think that that's a big win for us. Like beating Winthrop at Winthrop is a big game for sure. So just like finding those little wins and like those moments for sure.
Okay, guys. So that is all that, I have with Rylee, but she did have one message for the student. She did say that she really wanted them to come to more volleyball games, and I honestly could not agree more. So make sure you check your calendars and show up for our volleyball team. Their next game is actually going to be on October 31st, so Friday, a little Halloween game at 6 p.m. against UNC Asheville. So, before you go out trick-or-treating and doing whatever anyone wants to do on Halloween, make sure you swing by the Denman Center and catch a volleyball game. It will be worth your while. So we can see if they, can pull out a win. They've been doing really good the last couple of weeks, so it'll be really good to see it. So thank you guys so much for listening today. I really had a great time talking to Rylee about her experience. I hope you had just as fun of a time listening to it. She obviously had a lot to say about being a volleyball player and hopefully some insight. So hopefully this motivates everyone listening to go support the volleyball team. Please, guys, they work hard. So, and as they said, they feed off the crowd. So go be a part of that next win. So that's all I actually have for you guys today. So make sure that you're following Radio Free Radford on Instagram so that you can keep updated about what interviews are going to be coming up. I might have some special guests coming next week and in the coming weeks, and you definitely do not want to miss those interviews. So make sure you're following them at Radio Free Radford on Instagram so you can keep up to date. And you can catch another episode of Let's Talk About It next week on Tuesday. So until then, everybody have a great rest of their day and a great week, and I will catch you guys next week. Bye, guys.